Hello, nerds from Auckland, New Zealand. I am here today with Mel, my roommate. Actually, roommate / owns the house that I live in. So I don't know what the correct term for that is. I don't want to say landlord because you're much nicer. If I keep forgetting everything, you might start to feel that way. So we went and saw a show tonight at the Basement Theater, and that show was Terror Planet. It was a dance theater piece, and I hadn't seen a dance theater piece in a while, and Mel, you hadn't seen one ever, right?
Nope, never.
Never, ever. And originally when I asked Mel to see a show with me, we had been planning on seeing a more traditional one, I guess you could say, and written by a Kiwi playwright. And then I had this great meeting with the manager, producer of the Basement Theater, and he invited us out to Terror Planet. And so we changed plans, and I came back and I said, we're going to go see a sci-fi thriller. And you said that sci-fi... What did you say?
It's the thing I probably hate more than comedy.
So I took her to see a sci-fi dance theater piece by a comedic dance company called Dynamotion Productions. And the gist of the story was that it was in the future and all of that men had become obsolete. And it was just women, and they, of course, started feeling like they were missing something. They made it pretty clear that the something was a penis.
They were missing that.
They were missing that, and they did make it very clear. And then, of course, also, there was a love story in it. Yes. The story was mostly...
Yeah, in that they had... there was women and robots living on the planet, basically.
Yes.
So yeah.
Robots that the women had created,
yeah,
and decided to give a human psyche to. Yes, and one of the women falls in love with one of the robots, and then there's a robot rebellion, as often happens in sci-fi, and then the robot and the woman come back together after the people go through a trek in nature, and then they come back together and he helps her, and in the end, she has to kill the mainframe, which kills him, but there's a baby.
There's a twist. There's a baby.
There's a baby. And then I'm not going to give away the next twist, just in case anyone sees the show. So, anyway, all of that, really fun. I thought it was fun, for sure.
Yeah, there was so much energy in the place. It was a real, yeah.
It was absolutely. So,
everyone was laughing.
What was your first thought coming into the play? Like, it starts... You're at this sci-fi comedy.
Oh my God, what's going on?
Yeah. I thought that a little bit too. Like, yeah. Okay, what's going to happen? And then at what point did you really start to settle in? You said you kind of started to settle in when we were in the car. So what part?
I don't know which part. I'm just it was quite a way in, I guess, when I just sat back and relaxed a little bit more. I think probably when the lady behind us stopped laughing at every single thing. That was happening, and yeah, probably when after they'd had their little falling in love, yeah, and I'm trying to remember what happened when the first, he get taken away, didn't he?
Yeah.
And she rescues him first.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, no, he gets taken away, and then they rebel against the evil human woman lord and come back to Earth, and that's when they meet up again.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Cool. What was your favorite thing about the piece?
Favorite thing?
Yeah.
What about the whole show?
Yeah, about the whole show. Like the one thing, like if you were to only get to take like one thing out of it that you're like, yeah, I really enjoyed that. What would it be?
The music.
The music. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, it was really fun music.
Yeah, they used lots of music that you knew. Lots of, I don't know what you call that. Yeah, modern, old, but songs you knew, and you could have very funny lyrics that went along with the show so well.
The story.
The story. So.
Cool. And then, how did you feel about the experience by the end when it all was said and done, and they had that last couple of fun dances?
It wasn't as scary as I thought it was going to be.
Yay!
Yeah, no, it was good, and just to take it as it was rather than trying to overthink it too much.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they did definitely have a couple of things in there that could be kind of like overthought, and that weren't, I mean, the whole piece was fun. There was maybe a couple things that I was like, I don't even really get why that had to be there, but okay, I can go with it because it's fun.
Yeah. I think some of the scenes were a little bit like, okay, we've got that point, let's move on.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. They kind of, but I think they were just, as dancers, I felt like they were having a lot of fun dancing.
Absolutely.
Which made me have a lot of fun, even in the points where it could have probably sped along.
Yeah.
So speaking of all the dancing and all the fun, two of the dancers in this were one of them was very pregnant, like
very.
very, like waiting for her water to break while she was dancing around. And then the other one was pregnant as well, noticeably. Not huge yet, but,
No.
Definitely. So Mel has a 4-month-old little boy named Cooper. And so I was curious kind of what her reactions were to seeing these women just balls to the walls dance for about an hour and a half straight.
The very, very pregnant one, I couldn't take my eyes off her when she was on stage. I mean, she was a beautiful woman, but she was just...
Probably one of the most beautiful women I've seen.
The energy that she had, and she didn't cut corners. She didn't hold back at all, and it was just like, whoa. I couldn't do that when I was 7 months pregnant.
Yeah.
Dancing with the children at work. So I don't know how she was doing that with the lights. I mean, by the end of it, everyone else was sweaty and looked exhausted. So how she must have felt.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and she was still getting her, kicks up and, but, I mean, her belly was so pregnant that her belly button had popped, when they hit that point where the belly button pops out. So, I mean, for me, it made me feel kind of because the whole show, was about these women, and I was like, oh, woman! I mean, that made me feel very empowered. It's like she's pursuing her passion, and she's dancing like a beast, and she's probably 9 months pregnant,
Yeah, no, I thought it was, I felt that it was very supported by the guys in the group, The girls were very much, but it was very much a shared role. So the guys and the girls, it was a shared role. It wasn't just a token guy here or a token girl there.
Yeah.
But they were very much in control of the situation. And, yeah, she was great.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, and there were guys in the piece. About half the company was guys. And then, we were talking about there's this really great number where there's the mainframe and the dancer. Yeah, the motherboard. Yeah. And it was this, beautiful dancer boy body. And he had all these twinkle lights or fairy lights is what they call them here, right? You call them fairy lights?
Yeah.
That's I think what Vicky was telling me. I think we say that too in the States. But fairy lights just wrapped all around him, and in his head and his body. And he did this breaking and super stop motion movement that was I think one of the coolest dances.
The lights, the effects of the lights changing color and dancing to the music was awesome.
Yeah. I mean, and it was a simple set. I mean, they wrapped things in, aluminum foil and drew that reminds me too, when the rocket takes off from the planet the robots are on to the planet to Earth
through the galaxy.
Each of the actors or dancers held up galaxy different galaxy balls.
Props. They were on different planets.
Yeah, all different planets. Silly versions of the planets. And then at the very end, the very pregnant lady, they had lifted her shirt up and they put this gold Christmas tinsel around her to be the sun. It was awesome. I laughed so hard.
I think everybody did when she turned around because it was right at the end.
I was pretty sure the lady behind us was going to pee her pants.
I thought they did really well. There wasn't just the motherboard. They had Mother Nature. They had little woman things all the way through it. It was very clever.
Yeah, it was.
Clever in that sense.
It was very fun. And then just one last little thing. One of the things that was talked about a little bit on Theatrical with the Nerd this last month was just about audience and and of course a great concern always of theater artists is how do we develop audience? How do we keep audience? So do you feel like after seeing something that was kind of out of your particular idea of what you like that you'd maybe be more adventurous on what you go see?
I think so. If it was something out of my comfort zone, I think the fear of the unknown is sometimes more, and so maybe sharing more information.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that you like to keep it as a surprise and not let the storyline out, but I think sometimes sharing a little bit more and not making it too mysterious on paper for some mainstream people might be more inviting for them to come along rather than having it,
I think that makes sense.
things. You want to know what you're going to, especially if you're spending money.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's got limited resources. What am I going to spend my money on? I want to know that I'm going to like it
Mm-hmm.
or give it a go and at least have some idea about it. So
Yeah.
that would be what I would like to see more of. So I know what's happening.
I like that point. I think that's a good point. I mean, we can't expect everybody to know, like, what we know about what we're producing. And so I think that's a good point. You want to build an audience with a more mainstream crowd, then more information is always helpful. So thank you, Mel, for going to see a show with me.
You're welcome.
Yay.
I hope we get to go and see the other show still.
I know, yes. So maybe we'll be
like
talking about the Glass Menagerie here in the near future. Pretty excited to see such a iconic Southern American play down in Auckland. So that would be fun. And thank you guys for tuning in. I'm going to put some information up about Dynamotion and also the Basement Theater, the venue that we saw the show at. So check those links. I can say that there is a lot of cool things happening here in Auckland with the theater scene. Lots of great artists running around, and I can't wait to continue to see their shows and interview them and introduce you guys to those artists, as well as other great people that I'm meeting in New Zealand who come and see a show with me. So until next time, take care.